Hello everyone. Today I would like to show you that Canada is not a racist country. We don't have a systemic racism problem, and it's going to come out of the mouth of the Liberal government. So the government that's elected currently, and it's their second term. It's straight out of their mouth, their ugly, ugly mouth. But regardless, still, it comes from them. So it's not even me trying to show you we're not racist, it's from them. So the first thing I'm going to point us all to, and all links are going to be in the description, but it's going to be the 2015 platform from the Liberal government. So if you take a look at it, and I'm going to put a few things on the screen here that you can see, but what I did is I opened up the 2015 platform and I did a search on all of it for the words race, racism, racialized, I don't even know what that means, but whatever, and systemic, and there was none of that showed up. So it was not even referred to one time. So this is in 2015. So when you look at that, it means that in 2015, which is really only 5 years ago, the Liberal government had not identified as part of their platform that racism was a problem. Had it been a problem, or had it been identified as a problem, that would have been on their list. So if you look at the table of contents, it's not even in there. It's not mentioned at all in the document. So you can see right there, the Liberals are telling us they're going to handle a whole bunch of other problems, but racism ain't one of them, right? What's that song? I got 10,000 problems, or I should say, Canada's got 10,000 problems, but racism ain't one of them. Anyways, and the government was elected. They won the election. And for the first 4 years that they were in power, we heard nothing about racism. There was no issues. And I'm going to skip forward. Oh, I have something in my eye. Oh. I'm going to skip forward to 2019 when we had the election where they got their second term in a row for the Liberal government. Even though it was a minority government, they still won the election. And in that document, I did the same search. So I look at their platform and I did the same search for race, racism, racialized, and systemic, and it does show up a few more times. So I think race showed up about 6 times in that whole document, but it was more in the context of we will continue to ensure that there's equitable hire for people of various races. So that is kind of how they've used the word race. You can again go look it up yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. I really encourage you to take the word of the Liberal government in this case. When will you ever hear me say that? Take their word for it. They're saying there is no problem with racism. In the 2019 version, they also address the extremism. So there is mention of white supremacy and all that. And I think that was after the mosque attack in Quebec. They felt the need to virtue signal in there. So they put extremism. So they're going to fight extremism in all forms, including white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. So that's what they put in the 2019 version. But again, if you look at the table of contents, there is no, racism is a real problem we need to address. So if you fast forward from the October election 2019 to now, which is June 2020, now all of a sudden the Canadian government, since June 2nd, they have been coming out saying to us every day how systemic racism is everywhere. They've essentially, in the name of propaganda, created a boogeyman. But here's what's really important. And I really hope that if you have to shut down this video after this, fine, but please listen to this part. The issue in Canada is not between citizens. It's not blacks, whites, brown, whatever. It's between the citizens and the government. The government is screwing us over. They're doing it financially. They're doing it ideologically by bringing in values that are not Canadian. They're doing it on every level that you can imagine. And that's where the real enemy is. The real enemy is Canadians versus the state of Canada or the country of Canada. It's not within our communities. There, like I said before in other videos, there will always be that racist guy over there, a few couple people that come in that are newly assimilated, or I shouldn't say assimilated, newly arrived Canadians that come from countries where racism is rampant, and they might express racist views. But overall in Canada, for the most part, we are not racist, nor do we have racist values or systemic racism. But you'll notice in the last few weeks, you are bombarded every single day. Racism here, RCMP has systemic racism. RCMP has this, the boss of the RCMP has to step down. Systemic racism everywhere in all of our institutions, including the halls of parliament. Oh my God! And I'm thinking, wait a sec, let's think about this. So liberals, you were telling us in 2015 there was absolutely no racist problems in Canada. 2019 you reiterated your own message that there is no racist problem in Canada. And now 2020, racism is systemic everywhere in all of Canada. So either you were so incompetent in 2015 and 2019 at identifying the true issues that are afflicting Canadians, and you completely missed it. You're so oblivious, and therefore relinquishes you to a status of complete incompetency as a government, where you've missed the biggest problem we have, or, which is the more realistic version, you are totally making this up. You're adding fuel to the fire just in an effort to create division within Canada so that you can keep moving forward with the agenda you have. There is no systemic problem here in Canada. Even you yourself have told us that. And like I said, all of a sudden now bombarded daily. I think on Facebook I see like 10 articles about how racist we are. And same thing when I open up the news and it's suggested articles, it's always how racist we are and how there's a problem and that we have to look into it because the police is open season hunting black people in Canada and we're going after natives in Canada, and all of these stories are all coming out, and we have to ask ourselves, why is this all coming out now? Wasn't it climate change the biggest problem we had, like plastic straws and eliminate plastic containers and plastic bags? Like, wasn't that the biggest issue before? Or the middle class? What the hell happened to middle class? Didn't Justin Trudeau said, we're working to make the middle class better, blah, blah, blah. What happened to the middle class, right? There is no systemic racism in Canada. This message was brought to you by the Liberal government of Canada, who confirms what I'm saying, that there is no racism, because they themselves did not think there was racism until literally a week ago, and now they're bombarding you. They are trying to use this to change your mind, to make you believe that there is racism, and this is called propaganda. This is what the USSR did to their citizens. This is what China is doing currently. North Korea, name any socialist state out there, and this is what they do to their population. And I am here trying to tell Canadians, please, please do not fall for it. Don't be manipulated by our government. We do not have a problem. The citizens of Canada get along for the most part. Before I go, just one last thing. I promise I'm going to shut up after this. By the way, if you didn't want to hear me talk, you didn't have to click on this video. But anyways, so think about this. Canada has been multicultural since the 70s, right? This is when a lot of different people started coming here, people from all over the world. So now we're at a point where everybody I know is a mixed race. So how can you call us racist when you have friends that married other races and now have mixed race babies? My own family, fully mixed in. So I have a Vietnamese sister-in-law, I have a Chinese sister-in-law who's lucky that she fled China, and I have an Indian from India brother-in-law. So all of my nieces and nephews are all mixed. They're mixed, so they're not white, they're not Asian, they're half and half. And I have friends that have married black people. They have babies that are half and half. And then what do you do when you have a Japanese that married a Vietnamese and they have a mixed baby, and then that baby goes on to marry a white guy, and then they have, you can see how in Canada we're so intermingled that it's going to be very, very hard to push the racism card with any credibility. And this is why they are bombarding you, because I think if we can repeat the lie often enough, Canadians might buy into it. So please don't buy into it. It's all bogus. It's a boogeyman. Focus on what's really important, which is the encroachment of socialism into our country, as well as what the government is really doing now. Look at what the government is doing, not what your fellow citizens are doing. So anyways, okay guys, see you in the next one.